Welcome back to the Work of Wellbeing podcast. I'm Amy Green, your host from The Wellness Strategy, and we're here to talk about all things personal and professional wellbeing. This podcast is designed to help you become curious and consider your everyday wellbeing strategies, what you do for your own wellness, and how you can start to transform your life both in and out of the workplace. Sit back, grab a cup of tea, maybe grab a notepad, a journal, and get ready to feel really enlightened about what wellbeing used to be, what it is now, and where you can take your own wellness strategy. I get asked so often, what can we do if our leaders aren't on board with supporting wellbeing? Or what do we do if we've suggested ideas and nothing happens? We keep talking about it, but there's no momentum. First of all, I want you to know no leader in any school or workplace is sitting around going, how do we make this harder for staff? That's not what anyone wants. That's not what's happening. But my message is, if you are prepared to step into the space of looking at how to turn your school into a great workplace or your work environment into a great workplace for staff to benefit staff wellbeing, you have to make time and space for it. It can't be left to chance and it can't be ad hoc. You have to have a strategic plan centered around this that's broken down into tangible actions, and we use staff voice to drive this. If you are a staff member in leadership or not, and you're really passionate and you want to do this work, what I'm going to say is you need to not try and fix everything, but instead listen to staff first and then ask what's going to give us the biggest return on investment, what is going to be the most impactful. Because sometimes we want to step into a place of fix, and it becomes like putting out spot fires. That's not actually the role of workplace wellbeing. The role of workplace wellbeing is to increase engagement in how people work so that their work is fulfilling and meaningful and they know why it matters and it's purposeful. It's to increase productivity so people can be more efficient, effective, and work with energetic sustainability through developing great infrastructure that supports system structures and processes and kind of, helps with work-life balance too, because we're not always working, although that's not my favorite term, and it's not something I talk about a lot, but it is, right? We want more space in our day to live our life and do our work well. So let's be productive. The other reason we want to enhance workplace wellbeing is so that we can perform and grow as professionals. And what that means is we know our standards of excellence, we know what done looks like, what a really good job here is, and we're growing and learning and developing, and we have that growth mindset. And if you're an educator, it's the stuff we teach our students, we need to do it for ourselves. Now, that is the purpose of driving staff wellbeing. It's not so we can put on more morning teas and coffee carts and yoga classes and work less. It's about ensuring we hold high standards for a great profession, and it's done with clarity and kindness that allows people to work effectively and efficiently in a way that's collaborative and supportive for everyone, which means we can't write a list of 10 things to do and go and do them, which means the solution is not the same as every other school, which means we need to start to ask people in our school what works really well, what are our challenges and barriers, what can we do differently? And if you are someone who perhaps is using the narrative of workload's too high, people don't care about our well-being, everything is stressful, we can't get work done, we need to be clearer around what that means. We need to come with suggestions and solutions. And this needs to be done through a formal process, like anything with change management or implementation of new approaches, new pedagogy, new systems. This is a new way of being and working in schools. Yeah, it's culture. Yeah, it's pedagogy. Yep, it's learning and teaching. Yes, it's how we do things in our school, but ultimately it is centered through the well-being of staff. Is what we're doing supporting people to work well in a school environment to benefit students? Now, I'm not one to say we need to do staff wellbeing well for students, but there is a flow down effect that we can't ignore and deny, because when we are doing staff wellbeing well, when we have these things in place, planning is better. Teachers are calmer, they develop better relationships. We understand emotional health from an adult perspective so we can regulate and show up for our students. We feel more organized, which reduces stress, which means we're not going to be as reactive when something throws out our day, whether it is a student or a parent email or an interaction with a colleague. All of the things that we think are isolated incidents or isolated issues to solve actually center through developing a really strong wellbeing culture that's done through a staff lens. We start to consider things like energy and capacity and time and space of decision making, not just what can we add on. So if you are wondering, what do we do from a leadership perspective, or how do we start having a conversation around leadership? The first thing is to know that leaders are not sitting around a table going, how do we make it harder? And the second thing is to reassure everyone it's not about yoga classes and morning tea and coffee carts as much as we love them. The third is it's about enhancing how we work here so that we can be calm and kind, so that we can be efficient and effective, and so that we know where our standards of excellence are so we can grow and maintain that, because teaching is a great profession. Let's be great professionals. And if we don't do this through a staff lens and we just think about it from an activity perspective, that doesn't allow us to consider how we might feel, work, team, and lead, we're going to miss the mark. Now, this again is stepping into everyone, understanding its collective responsibility. And yeah, we got to do the individual thing first, but it's about knowing that we work together on this. So if you have a staff wellbeing committee or a team, it should be made up of people from right across your school. You are not the fixers, though. You're not the sounding board for people. It is done in a very formal way that is focused on driving change where change is possible, acknowledging staff voice, recognizing perhaps why we can't do something, and being prepared to put in the work now to reduce the stress, the overwhelm, and the workload in the long period of time that lies ahead. It's about being the architects and designers of the school you want to create. Have a think about that from a leadership, from a school, from a system perspective, because if you're serious about doing the work, this is where it starts.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I really do hope you have enjoyed it. The information discussed today was just that, information only. It's not specific advice. If you take action following something you heard today, it's important to make sure that you get professional advice about your unique situation before you proceed, whether that advice be legal, financial, accounting, medical, or otherwise. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or if there's anything else I can do to support your own wellbeing and wellness journey, whether it's another topic you'd like me to discuss or whether it's support in your school, workplace, or individually. And if you do know someone who might benefit from listening to this, please remember to tell them about it, share the episode with them, or suggest my Instagram, my website, or LinkedIn where they can find out more about me and what I do. And as always, I will see you in the next episode.